Yeah, so this video is spoilers for the first season of Sword Art Online. Big surprise there. Sword Art Online is effectively the punching bag for the anime community. It draws in more normies than any other anime. It has a protagonist that is nicknamed Jesus-kun by the community. It ruins any good character to introduce, throws away any stakes it has halfway through, and has enough time skips to make you think you are just watching a Get in the Robot timeline on the series. However, I actually unironically like the Sword Art Online series for some reason, but it is stupidly entertaining all the way through, even if it falls off a cliff super fast the minute they get out of the death game. So today we'll be making fun of, talking about SAO Season 1. As always, my name is Lukaidem, and let's get into the video. So Sword Art Online is an anime made by A1 Pictures, based on the light novel series of the same name by Reki Kawahara. The anime ran from July to December of 2012, and the first season of the anime covers 2 story arcs as well as 4 side stories in its 24 episode run. But anyway, Sword Art Online's main premise is that the VR MMO RPG of the same name was released, and everyone is going crazy for it and is logging into the game. Our protagonist Kazuto Kirigaya, or his in-game name Kirito, is a beta tester of the game, and upon logging into the big release, he has an instant advantage as he knows the initial zones of the 100 in the world of Sword Art Online. So he logs in on launch day like everyone else, only to find that he cannot log out. Yeah, I haven't seen this before. But anyway, if a player dies in the game while in the game, they also die in real life. Such a stupid premise, but the only way to escape the game is to beat the game, which to any MMORPG player sounds like an impossible feat. But it's quite obvious that Kawahara never played an MMO before writing the light novels. So it's hard to get an accurate idea on everything that happens in the Aincrad arc, because the arc is full of time skips and episodes that are seemingly standalone as they have no effect on the overall plot of the story or where it goes. This is cited as one of the main reasons that the series is shit. But in actuality, the first SAO volume, which covers all of Aincrad arc, was a submission for a writing contest that went over the page limit, so Kawahara released it independently without adding anything to it. In October 2012, he started releasing Sword Art Online Progressive, which would serve as the floor-by-floor story of Aincrad and would be much more fleshed out, of course, because it's going to end up being like 100 volumes or some shit. However, the first of these books released in October of 2012, as I said, so they didn't make it into the anime, which started airing in July. Which honestly really sucks, because the Aincrad arc is pretty damn good overall, and by that I mean it's mostly just enjoyable. It has its flaws like any other power fantasy isekai. The protagonist is super OP, and that doesn't change, and he's the literal god among the players. Every girl in a 1,000-kilometer radius seemingly wants to join his harem, and he defeats the big bad and saves the day without fail or any big obstacles. Hell, he even skips 25 floors and gets straight to the final boss on floor 75 out of 100. But that doesn't change how entertaining the arc is, with the exception of the episodes revolving around Yui. The world is pretty interesting and fun to watch the characters navigate as they fight their way through the 100 floors, or really 75, of the world of Aincrad. The anime also takes the still bare-bones concepts in the first SAO volume and makes it watchable, as it puts a lot of makeup on it and fills it with amazing-looking fight scenes. The anime only really starts to slip up when it comes to Kirito's ridiculous power that a solo player in MMO shouldn't be able to get. Many moments when the anime decides fan service is a good idea over the way it actually was in the light novel, although luckily for its age rating excludes chapter 16.5. But it also lacks structure in how it connects its mostly independent episodes rather than giving a direct link like the novel was missing, which honestly probably would have been the biggest improvement that the anime could offer if they had put it in. But overall, the anime sticks tightly to its source material, but because of that, most of the characters still fall as flat as they possibly could in the anime adaptation. I mean, they could have easily added some anime canon episodes, giving the characters this great thing called character development that it otherwise wouldn't see until a brief glimmer of it in SAO Season 2, and when it was actually properly introduced as a concept in the series in Alicization. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The Aincrad arc in the anime also contained the second volume of the light novel, which is a short story anthology that is much better than the first light novel in terms of writing quality. Anyway, this volume contains 4 short stories that were all adapted into episodes during the Aincrad arc and placed them in the correct places on the timeline. The Girl of Morning Dew getting the most attention in the anime with 2 episodes, but the others still making an appearance with their own 1-episode things. So the Girl of Morning Dew and really the whole concept of Yui is dumb as shit, so we'll ignore that. But there are a few things I want to point out. In the episode about Silica, the Beast Tamer, we get a bit about Silica almost opening the door for Kirito while in her underwear and getting super embarrassed about it, and this scene lasts like a minute and a half. In the light novel, she actually is properly clothed and is actually the one who goes to see Kirito. That's the first insertion of fan service. But yeah, that's the major thing I wanted to say, because looting lollies is wrong. Especially when they are literally 12 in the canon. What the hell, Japan? Stop doing this shit! But yeah, my favorite 2 episodes in the Aincrad arc of the anime are Red-Nosed Reindeer and The Warmth of the Heart. Both of these adapt the stories quite well, and are pretty inoffensive as far as SAO goes. So anyway, at the end of Aincrad, Kirito beats Big Bad and saves the day. He also asks Big Bad why he did everything to get the answer of, fuck if I know, dude. It's been so long, I don't remember that shit. But hooray, everyone escapes, and we see Kirito wake up and go to look for Asuna, the girl he fell in love with within the game that I haven't mentioned yet because she doesn't do anything of any consequence until the next episode. And yes, there is more, because clearing the game that the series is named after is just the beginning. It doesn't even take up a full season, and there are still 8 episodes to go in the 25 episodes. Yeah, Editor Loki here. Turns out that there's actually another 11 episodes, because they get out the end of episode 14. So that means 11 out of the 25 episodes aren't even based in Aincrad. So it's even dumber and more offensive to the first half than I thought. So before we get into the next story arc, let's talk about the only other important character in SAO Season 1 that isn't Kirito, which is a generic tsundere turned dere girlfriend named Asuna. So in the Death Game, she was an absolute badass, and was the co-leader of one of the largest and most powerful raiding guilds called the Knights of the Blood. I always called them the Knights of the Blood Oath for some reason. Yeah, I think that's actually a better name. But anyway, she was a badass from the start of Aincrad, but starts to go downhill the minute she and Kirito get together, where she then can't do anything without him. In fact, going to hide behind him at any possible moment and saying she'll kill herself if anything happens to him. Yeah, she'd probably forget how to breathe if he wasn't within a 10-mile radius. But anyway, let's get back to the story. So SAO really should have ended when Kirito woke up, and Reki Kawahara should have given up on it adding anything else later in the timeline from that point. In fact, he had no clue what the fuck to do. Here's a direct quote from the 2nd volume of the SAO light novel. After publishing the 1st volume, I received a great many requests wondering where the story could continue after an ending like that. After all, the game was beaten and the world came crashing down. I myself realized that there was virtually no elements of the story that might continue from there.
So that was a fucking lie.
So here's a follow-up. A retread back in time, and a collection of sub-stories no less. I am truly sorry for this. Great. Apparently he went with the shittiest idea he could come up with at that time. Welcome to the final leg of SAO Season 1, the Fairy Dance Arc. Based in the online VR MMO RPG game of Alfheim Online, because VR MMOs were still considered a good idea after everything that happened with SAO, which was technically a terrorist attack that killed 3,853 people, making it the worst terrorist attack in history, killing almost 1,000 more people than 9/11. That's some great logic there, SAO governments. But anyway, I think it is universally agreed that this is where both the light novel and the anime done fucked it up. So the basic premise of the arc is that a few months have passed and Kirito has recovered from 2 whole years of not moving. That's not how rehabilitation works, but that's a video in and of itself. But anyway, it turns out that 300 people have not woken up from SAO. One of those people being Asuna, because of course it is. So Kirito goes to visit her at the hospital while also patching up his relationship with his adoptive sister Suguha. She's important later for a few reasons. But during one of Kirito's hospital visits, he meets this creep who we'll just call Bitch Boy, for reasons that will become clear later on. And Asuna's dad, who is unaware and probably wouldn't care about Kirito's relationship with his daughter in the game, is planning on marrying Asuna off to Bitch Boy. Kirito is shocked and pissed off, only to be taunted by Bitch Boy on how he can't stop it. So Kirito leaves super depressed, unsure of what the hell to do with his life now that he can't be with his online girlfriend. One day Kirito is at his friend from SAO's Angel's bar, and is shown a screen grab from a game called Alfheim Online that seemingly depicts Asuna being trapped in a birdcage on the branch of a location called the World Tree. Kirito borrows the game and straps into the same device that almost killed him last time, and his adventures in ALO begin. So Kirito enters the game and creates a character that looks like he is pretty much trying to dox himself. And then a glitch in the system occurs, and he is thrown right into the middle of this forest in between all the racial cities. For some reason, Yui is revived. Screw that stupid AI. And also, Kirito has managed to retain some stats from SAO, even though his items are all gone. But seriously, who the hell coded that SAO progress could be transferred to ALO? And if no one coded it, then what kind of unexplained bullshit is this? But anyway, Kirito meets a girl named Leafa who agrees to bring him to the World Tree and guides him through her racial territory city. So if this was World of Warcraft, she was effectively a human guiding an undead through Stormwind. That wouldn't go well, but it's fine in the show, of course. But anyway, a lot of bullshit ensues, where Kirito seemingly forgets about Asuna for a few episodes in order to solve an imaginary race war in the game. I have no clue why the hell this concerns him at all. I mean, in this arc, they try to treat Alfheim as another world that he has been isekai'd to, when in actuality, he can log out anytime he wishes, and he's pretty much just getting pissed off at role players and trying to stop them from doing their race war. So evidently, Kirito hasn't played many MMOs enough to know that RPers are weird, or he accidentally chose an RP server upon logging in, because it seems that this is a whole server-wide issue. But anyway, after some scenes where the RPers decide to do the corny press their chest against his arm thing, they finally move on and get back to their goal, which is going to the World Tree. When they eventually reach the World Tree, he finds out to get into his branches he has to beat a raid that not even a huge raid party has been able to clear. So he pulls a complete and utter protagonist in a power fantasy move and says, "I'ma beat this shit solo." So he goes in this raid and is effectively, it's a hollowed out tree without any layout, and it's just filled with super high level endgame mobs that keep spawning. He's been playing the game for like 5 days at this point, even with his SAO stats. Soloing the final raid in the game is a stupid idea. So needless to say, Kirito gets his ass kicked. If he didn't, I probably would have dropped the show right there, to be honest. So anyway, while this is going on, Asuna breaks out of her cage and gets tentacle raped. Here I thought that this series was supposed to be aimed at under 18s. Not hentai enthusiasts. Anyway, but with the majority of Asuna's screen time out of the way, we can return to Jesus-kun, who gets his soul grabbed by Leafa and brought to the outside so he can be revived. Leafa then effectively tells him that he should play the game how it was designed to be played, and get a raid party together. And he says, "No, fuck you, I'ma save Asuna by myself." Well, Leafa doesn't like the name Asuna, and finally figures out that Kirito is in fact her brother Kazuto. Oh yeah, by this point we already found out that Suguha and Leafa are the exact same person, so yeah, just keep that in mind. So she logs out in tears, and so does Kirito, but not in tears, of course. And he goes to his sister to find out that she was in love with him IRL when she found out that they weren't blood related, because that's a logical next step. And she planned to move on from her feelings for her IRL brother by falling in love with Kirito. Yeah, needless to say, that plan backfired horribly, though Dojin artists interpret it differently. I think that's important to state. So Kirito does a good thing and votes no to incest, and they get back in the game. They recruit one more guy after a pointless duel between Leafa and Kirito, and decide to blitz the raid and rush straight through until Kirito reaches the top and inserts a magic card that he has, because of course he has it. He is protagonist-kun after all. So he then goes to save Asuna, and they have a puke-worthy reunion. Then Bitch Boy shows up in the game and stabs Kirito through the chest and starts, well, borderline raping Asuna again. That's twice in the last 3 paragraphs of my script that has happened to Asuna. Yeah. But Big Bad from the last arc shows up and basically tells Kirito he is officially Jesus-kun now. So then Kirito decides that he is now a game master and starts telling the system what to do and change the way the battle goes down. So he then starts beating the shit out of Bitch Boy, who then starts crying like a little bitch. Hence why I'm calling him Bitch Boy. So anyway, Kirito makes the system log him and Asuna out of the game and then runs to the hospital when suddenly Bitch Boy shows up, IRL this time, with a knife in his hand, only for Kirito to kick his ass again, IRL, and beat his face into a car door. So then, yeah, Kirito runs up to Asuna's room, and the two make out and starts crying into each other's shoulder like, it's finally over, it's finally over, and the show ends. Until the next season. So yeah, I wouldn't do way too many spoilers than I would have liked, but, fuck it. To get the point across on how bad this shit is, you gotta walk through it and summarize everything that happens and point out all its flaws. I mean, this is absolute garbage! Wait a minute. What was the title of this video again? Hey, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll stream 4 days a week over on Twitch, so make sure to check that out for streams and such. I may even be live right now. But if I'm not, there are always more videos to check out on the channel if you are interested. And without further ado, have a good day.